Bruchim habaim ledikduk dakot. This video is about an introduction to the perfect form. Hebrew verbs, as we've said before, are composed or formed by taking three letters, three consonants, which form the root, and then on top of that, you add vowels and then various kinds of endings. So if we take this example root here, kaf, tav, beit, that's our three-letter root. On to the root, so a root isn't actually a word. It's just three root letters. A word requires vowels so that it can be pronounced and spoken. So we have these three root letters, and that communicates the basic meaning. This particular verb means to write. We add a series of vowels which allow the word to be spoken. So now it's katav, katav. And then we add endings of various kinds to nuance the meaning further. So now we have katavnu, katavnu. We'll come back to that at the end if I remember, and we'll tell you what it means. But to summarize, Hebrew verbs are made of three root consonants onto which vowels, a particular kind of vocal pattern is superimposed. That's the orange here. And then various kinds of endings, perhaps, or something attached to the beginning that nuances that meaning with relation to the subject and time. And that's in the pink. Okay. Verbs in Hebrew, just like in English, communicate action. They describe action, or they can communicate states of being, like the state of being afraid, or the state of being full, or the action of walking, or of storming. But this video is about the perfect form. So you've already learned about participles, for instance. This is about the perfect. The function of the perfect is to describe action that has come to completion. One very important but somewhat challenging element of Hebrew verbs to wrap your mind around is that Hebrew is not a tense-based language like English is. So Hebrew verbs can't locate action in time in specific ways like English verbs do, with past tense, future tense, present tense, past perfect, pluperfect, all these different kinds of tenses. Hebrew doesn't have them. Hebrew works basically perfect or imperfect. It's an oversimplification, but in general it's perfect or imperfect. And what perfect and imperfect describe are actions that have either come to an end, have been perfected or completed, or actions that have not yet come to an end. They're imperfect or they're incomplete. In other words, they're still ongoing or perhaps about to begin. But when we translate them into English, we need to use, English is a tense-based language, so we translate them into tense. So the perfect, as describing action that has ended or come to completion, has been perfected, would be most often translated into the past tense in English. Okay, so you may be wondering what all of these squiggles are communicating. I will describe them to you as best I can. This is the paradigm for the perfect. And it shows you specifically, actually it's the paradigm from pronoun to perfect. It's showing you what the affixes look like. The perfect form is made by affixing an affix, which is a contracted pronoun, to the end of a three-letter root. So here we have the third masculine singular, who, that's the independent personal pronoun, IPP. It gets contracted into nothing. As is the case in so many Hebrew examples, the masculine singular form, or the third masculine singular form, is the lexical form. It has nothing attached and nothing added. But here we have the third feminine singular, he. The he of he gets attached here at the end as a comet's hay. You've seen this elsewhere. The comet's hay is the feminine singular noun and adjective ending. It's also the third feminine singular affix. It attaches at the end of the verb to communicate that a feminine singular subject has done some action that's come to an end. Ata, second masculine singular, you see the ta, you can hear it, ta, 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 ta. At, t, at, and t, right? So the salient sound of the pronoun gets contracted and then becomes the affix. And first common singular ani becomes ti. Now let's go to the plural column. Hem and henna just become a shurik vav. So there's really no relationship between the pronoun and the affix here, but you can just memorize it. If a verb ends in a shurik vav, it's plural. That's kind of how it goes. Okay, here now the second plural forms. This is masculine. Atem, it's just the exact form. Atem, tem. Aten, ten. The second forms, second person forms are really quite nice. And first common plural also, anachnu, nu. Okay, so that should be very clear and straightforward. Now let's try translating this verb into all of these forms. So we have katav. Here means he wrote. He wrote. Right? So it's a perfect form, meaning we translate it generally into the past tense. Third masculine singular, the pronoun who is he. He wrote. He katva, she wrote. She wrote. Ata katavta, you masculine singular wrote. Or at katavt, you feminine singular wrote. And finally, at the end of the singular column, ani katavti, I wrote. Hem and henna make the exact same form. Katvu, katvu, hem katvu, they wrote. Atem, katavtem, y'all, masculine, wrote. Aten, katavten, y'all, feminine, wrote. And finally, anachnu, katavnu, we, first plural, we wrote. That is the perfect form. Lech l'shalom.